Hi guys, hit the subscribe button. Thanks and enjoy the video. Hi guys, so let's talk about the rules for Warhammer, the old world. Now it's common knowledge that most people think that this, which was Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition, was the pinnacle, the best version of Warhammer Fantasy rules. I have this. I have quite a few of the army books to go with it. Now, when we talk about Warhammer, the old world, we know that troops are going on to 25mm bases. So this is a block of Empire halberdiers that have rebased on the 25mm, and I've sprayed them all white undercoat because they're going to be Tailhelm, I think you pronounce it, with the red and white uniforms. So that's what these are going to be painted up as. And the Old World Almanac, which is where Games Workshop has been putting out tidbits on the rules of the Old World. And what I've done is I've printed them all off and compiled them into a book, like so. At the moment, I think we're at 19 pages. So I think there's a good spread of the rules and give me an idea of how they're going to play. And I actually think, apart from a few adjustments in how magic works, it's going to play similar to 6th edition. The latest one, which was out on Monday just gone, had some stats, and the stats are pretty much the same. Move, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, wounds, initiative, attacks and leadership. Pretty standards, that's going to be the same. They also mentioned that they're going back to, we'll go back here, using the old hit table from years ago as well. So that's all good news. Maybe let's start at the beginning. So what they said on the first issue was it's going to have a 4-phase turn sequence: strategy phase, movement phase, shooting phase and a combat phase. And it obviously gives you different bits for each one. So if we go through here, see that one's movement phase, shooting phase, etc. So I printed them off for each of the phases. So the first phase is strategy phase. So you attempt to cast enhancements or hex spells and make use of special rules, so rallying, etc. Now, there isn't a specific magic phase. Magic has been rolled into other phases as such. So there's some spells you can use in strategy, some you can use in the movement, some you can use in shooting, some you can use in the combat, and they are used as a sort of an additional buff for that phase. So in the shooting phase, you might get your wizard to fire a magic missile off because it's a shooting attack. Anyway, so that's the strategy phase. And then after the strategy phase, we've got movement phase. As you can see here, we're using the block formation, as in this. But as I say, they've gone from the 20 to 25mm bases. I've got my orcs around the 25mm bases. And when these are done, get these painted up, I'll use these, my general and some handgunners, and I'll use some arrow boys and boys with close combat weapons and an orc boss. And what I'll do is I'll attempt to do a small game of using the old world rules. We'll see how that goes as well. I'm going to get these painted up first. but it's nicer to have a go with models. So we've got with close order and open order, and we've got skirmish, which are loose. That'd be like archers and things like that, and ghouls for vampire counts. And then we've got the lance formation, which is used a lot by Bretonians, but I don't think it's fixed as just a Bretonian thing in this version. But that's sort of more in depth. These are just basic overview of the rules. So again, so the form, combat order and marching columns. So this is no different from 6th edition. Everybody was in blocks like that. So that's not changed. Movements. The only thing, I think they've simplified the movement a bit slightly. As in, when you move, if your unit can go 4 inches, then it can move 4 inches directly forward, like so. However, if you want to change direction, then the furthest point can still has to be 4 inches. So if you want to wheel slightly, then you can move this side forward 1 inch, and then the whole thing can then move 3 inches forward to complete your 4-inch move. That's my interpretation of how movement is going to work. Then the next one, yeah, there's what I said about the wheel maneuver. You see, move. You can move, turn, but you can only move that side to the maximum move you can move, or you can move and then move. But the furthest distance can only ever be within your max move range. So if you can only move 4 inches, you've got to wheel or turn within that 4 inches. You can't move forward and then turn because you're moving more than your 4-inch move. So there we go. So shooting phase. Again, I don't think this has changed much from 6th edition. We've got the weapons and ballistic skill. Again, they've got special rules which they haven't covered yet, so I don't know what the special rules will mean. Like so volley fire used to be the ones at the back of, like, say, with bows can fire overhead, etc. I don't know whether it'll still be the same. Armor bane used to give you an extra 1 to penetration. I don't know whether that's the same. But I say this will come out with the rules. I mean, the rules, there's enough here. I've got the stats for the longbow, so the orc can use that stat. So I can got a strength 3 shot, so I can shoot with that. So you got roll to hit, so it's ballistic skill, and I'll just use the stats from this week's one. So there's even that one there, and the morale stats are the same as the stats in the army books I've got. So I will use the stats of the figures I've got, and that way I will use the ballistic skill and that for the figures I've already got. I don't know whether they're going to bring out a supplement with lists for all the old codexes or army books as such. So when they release the start set and they release the rule book, I'm hoping they're going to release a book of all the old units. So there'll be like a compendium which has got the stats for each of the units until you bring out army books for them. Unless they're going to bring out army books for every faction at once, which I can't see that. So we've got the wound chart again, which will look familiar. The same old, same old. So you got your weapon strength against the target's toughness, and then the roll you need to wound. And then you've got your battle magic, so you've got a fireball magic spell, so you can use the fireball magic spell in the shooting phase. Next up we've got the combat phase. Again, This is the fighting in hand-to-hand combat, and again it's the weapon skill versus target's weapon skill. And then what you need, so if you're weapon skill 3 and your target's weapon skill 3, then it's a 4+ to hit. And then we've got combat results score. So combat results score, so we've got, so it's how many models you kill in your opponent's army, and then you have so the combat results score worked out by, so unsaved wounds inflicted is 1 point each, rank bonus, so it's 1 point per rank, standard you get a +1, battle standard you get a +1, flank attack you get +1, rear attack you get +2, if you're on the higher ground you'll get +1, +1 point for each excess wound, then other bonuses as applicable. So if you hit somebody in the rear and you've got a standard and you've got 4 ranks, but you only kill 1, so you'll kill 1, but you get another 3 points for your extra 3 ranks, another point for your standard, and then another 2 points for hitting them from the rear. So it'll be 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. So you've scored 8 points, and then your enemy will then do the same thing. So they'll count up how many ranks they've got, and then the differences will be the combat results. And then you got then you got your break tests. So a leadership role modified by how badly you lost the combat, 3 outcomes. So this is where I mentioned about this combat results score. If you win by 5 points on the combat results score, that's a modification to the break test on the leadership. So rolling high is not good. Okay, and now we're on to magic. So I mentioned before about different types of spells to do different things. So there's 6 categories of spells. We've got enhancements, which enhance either the sorcerer or units or figures he's with. You've got hex, which are ones that weaken your enemy. You've got conveyance, which are movement spells. Magic missiles, which, as you would have guessed, it is maybe shooting spells. Magic vortexes. These are interesting ones. Have you ever remembered the old Warhammer 40,000 vortex missiles, where you put the template on the table, a 3-inch template, and it moved around? Basically that sort of thing. So you got magic vortexes and assailment. So these are deadly attacks that strike the foe without warning. Interesting ones. And also the miscast table is back. So when you cast a missile or whatever, you have a value that you need to roll higher than. So if you say you need to roll 6, you roll 2d6, you get 7, 3, it's gone off. If you get a double 6, it's perfect and the opponent can't dispel it. But if you get a double 1, then you have to re-roll on this miscast table. So again, you'll roll 2d6. So 2 to 4, you get a dimensional cascade, which doesn't sound good. 5 to 6, calamitous detonation, that sounds even worse. 7 is a chaos conjuration. 8, 9 is barely controlled power, and 10 to 12 is a power drain. So I say miscast table's back, and it could be pretty painful. And then obviously, because Bretonians are the first ones out, then they're giving you stats for Handmaiden of the Lady from Bretonia. And so it's regular infantry is on a 25 by 25 mil base, so that's good. So if you've got any of these and you want to draw on 20 by 20 bases, you can rebase them now because it tells you that they're on a 25 by 25. unit size 1, she's got a hand weapon, and a prophetess is a level 3 wizard, a damsel is a level 1 wizard. So every handmaiden of the lady knows spells from one of the following laws of magic: battle magic, elementalism, and illusion. And so she may be mounted. A prophet, maybe a level 4 wizard for an extra 30 points, but it doesn't tell you what the actual points for the character is at the start. It just tells you the extra points it will cost you to upgrade. So purchases of magical items up to a total of 100 points. So she can have 100 points of magical items, and she could be made a level 4 if she's a prophet or she's a damsel. But I say it doesn't tell you what the points cost of that is. And then special rules: aurora of the lady, blessing of the lady, love of the lady, magic attacks and magic resistance 2, and a shield of the lady. But I say it tells you them, but it doesn't actually tell you what they actually mean, because it's just basic examples, not in-depth rules review as such. And then we've got a unicorn, which is a mount, and it's called monstrous cavalry. Now the base side is on 40 by 60, so I'm wondering what size the normal cavalry are going to be on. And it unit size 1. Hooves and horns count as a band weapon. It moves 10, weapon skill 4, strength 4. And the handmaiden of the lady, she moves 4. So I think most foot mounted units are going to be a 4-inch move like they used to be. No super speedy movement like the 6-inch move Space Marines in 40k. And we've got a couple of spells and different types. We've got a battle magic 1, hammer hand. So a single enemy unit that cast is engaged in combat with suffers 2d3 strength 4 hits each time with AP of -2. Can be painful. Glittering robe, illusion. Until your next start of turn subphase, enemy units suffer -1 modifier to the rolls to hit made against the caster and any unit they have joined. And then Stormcall Elementalist. So until your next start of turn subphase, the target enemy unit suffers -1 modifier to its movement and initiative characteristics to a minimum of 1. If this spell is cast, the effect of any other hex previously cast on the target unit immediately expires. So it looks like you can only cast 1 of each type of spell onto a unit, so you can't cast 3-4 hex spells onto one unit and stack them. It looks like it's single spells per unit, and that's it. So that's what we've got so far for the rules. I think it's pretty much there that you could play a basic game without any of the extras, the spells and that of it, and just use bog standard weapons. Like we've got the longbow. I would imagine that the handgun is going to be pretty much the same sort of stats. It might be strength 4 with armor penetration like it used to have. And so there you go. There's a quick look at the rules. I think looking at it, there's some bits are the same as 6th edition, and there's some bits that are different. Most noticeable difference is the magic phase. It's no longer a magic phase, it's rolled into the other phases. So that's the noticeable difference. But we've still got the hit tables, we've still got the to wound tables. So that's not changed as such. The formations look pretty much the same. There might be slight difference in the way things move. Shooting is going to be pretty much the same. It's got the weapon strength against the target's toughness. So that's no change. Again, combat phase is attacker's weapon skill against target's weapon skill. So that's not a change. That's the same. Combat result scores slightly different. Magic break test has changed. I think it's been simplified, and the morale, again, it's relinked more to the break test. And there we go. The magic phase, it changed slightly. I don't know whether the spells will be as strong as they used to be. I've heard that the spells are toned down. It's not as, magic is not as powerful as it used to be in 6th edition. In 6th edition you could have like Vlad von Karstein, for example. He's one vampire count and he's nearly 500 points because he's a level 4 wizard, and he's got silly spells and he can raise the dead and bring skeletons and zombies back and all sorts of just completely broken characters. I don't know whether they're going to be as that powerful in this version. Well, yeah, so there you go. Hope you found this interesting. I give you an insight into the new version of the rules, and hopefully, as I say, I'll get these bad boys painted up, and I'll do a little, try and do a little run through of the rules that I've got so far. Take a bit of liberty with the stats for the units, but it should be good enough to play, I hope. No, thanks for watching.